Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Hot Seat SA, where the courtroom drama is hotter than Joburg in January, and the excuses are more slippery than a wet floor in court. Today, we're diving into yet another you can't make this up moment from the Senzo Meyiwa trial. And believe me, it's a mess. So picture this. It's another day in the high-profile Meyiwa trial, and our guy, Adv Mnisi, walks in with that "I've had enough of this nonsense" energy. He opens court by reminding everyone, "Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, South Africans." You know, the usual, before dropping a bomb. We're still waiting on AVL records.
There's information that we requested from the state with regard to the AVL records of certain vehicles. I think we dropped them an email some time ago. We haven't received any response. It's just a reminder, though. I realize that it might take a while for those for that information to be made available.
We did finish them the information. The information related, in essence, to vehicles, amongst others, the red Golf. We indicated to them that, and we finished them with a statement to that effect, that it was not fitted with a tracker. And they asked for AVL records for the Toyota Fortuner for the date of the 6th of June 2021, which we finished to them. Then there was also mention made of the BMW, the white BMW that was used. We received the statement over the weekend, and that is a copy that I mentioned earlier on that we were making. We just struggled to retrieve this copy. However, we have since made a copy thereof and finished them to the defense.
Has it been handed over to the court? Because I remember that evidence. Is that Miss Warrant Officer who the lady was driving the white BMW?
Sergeant
Mkola. He testified that it wasn't fitted.
Yes.
With an AVL, if I remember the evidence.
Yes, and we also drew the defense attention to the relevant evidence of Mr. Dupree. Yes, the AVL expert who did mention that the red Golf was not fitted with a tracking device.
Yeah, but the fact is, these exhibits were handed over to the defense as the trial was going on.
Yes.
So everybody has, am I correct, Mr. Mnisi, that you were handed those exhibits during the trial?
I think about we and the state are not on the same footing here.
Okay.
On the when was our last date when it came here? On the 5th. Yes, on the 5th, the state indicated that the red Golf was not fitted with an AVL. And as to
whose Golf is it?
It's a red Golf that was used by Sergeant Mkola when they arrested accused number 1 and accused number 2.
Oh, I see.
And it is also so that we also requested the AVL record of the Toyota Fortuner for the date of the 6th of June that we received. And I vividly remember that on the 5th of May, I stood up and said, it is very funny that vehicles that are serving the same purpose, one gets fitted with an AVL and the other one does not get fitted with an AVL. And with that, I was referring to the discrepancy between the Toyota Fortuner and the red Golf. Subsequent to that, I specifically indicated that it would then mean that we'll have to take the matter further. Upon arrival at my office, I penned an email to my colleagues and requested specifically the AVL records of the motor vehicle that was driven in the main by Mr. Buthelezi from Metropolis, from Ekurhuleni Metropolis. I also mentioned some few names. I can't remember. Well, I think Mapumulo is one of them. Munaringi, the Boli Sereng, Jonathan Bonyamanbo, and the Bobongani, because we could not get the AVL record of the red Golf that was involved from the beginning of the arrest of accused number 1 up until accused number 1 was taken to custody on the 31st of May 2020 at Fileria. As a substitute there too, we then requested the alternative AVL records of this motor vehicle that I've just requested here. We never limited our request to only the Fortuner, the red Golf, and the BMW. And in fact, I never requested the record of the BMW because we know that the BMW only got into the picture very late after all these accused were arrested. After accused number 1 and 3 were arrested. It would therefore have been a futile exercise for me to request those vehicles. So the follow-up that I'm making here is with regard to specifically the motor vehicles that were utilized by the Buthelezi, the Mapumulo, the Munareng, the Lisoreng, and the Jonathan, the Nyamanes, and the Yendes, and the Bonganis. All were involved in the arrest of accused number 1 and accused number 2. That's the information that I'm saying we are still waiting for feedback there too. Thank you, my lord.
AVL. That's automatic vehicle location data, folks. Basically GPS logs for police cars, like a vehicle's digital footprint. You'd think in a murder case involving multiple arrests, this would be standard. But nope. Apparently, it's too much to ask. Mnisi says it is very funny that the vehicles serving the same purpose, one gets fitted with an AVL and the other one does not. I mean, is this a lucky draw? Do cops get to spin a wheel in the morning like today's winner of a working tracking system is the Toyota Fortuner? Sorry, Red Golf. Better luck next time.
The evidence is on record. those police officers from Ekurhuleni Metro testified. They testified about the trip sheets of those vehicles, and they indicated that there are no records trip sheets for those vehicles. So we can't take it further than that, my lord.
Okay.
I'm flabbergasted, my lord, that my colleague is saying that those officers testified that they said there are no AVL records. How would they have known that those vehicles are fitted or not fitted with AVL? Because they were just mere drivers or officers of those vehicles. This is for the first time that I hear that the Metro Police, when they drove those vehicles were never fitted with AVL. And I've read the record on the testimony of those witnesses. I did not come across such evidence, which is the reason why I requested the AVL. It will also be very surprising, my lord, that this AVL, that is motor vehicle, all of a sudden, are also not fitted with AVL. They were not fitted with AVL gadgets. Therefore, we are unable to get their AVL records. It will be very sad, indeed. Because this is central to the case and the cross-examination of this witness here, Brigadier Kininda.
Under Section 35, subsection 3 of the Constitution, every accused has the right to a fair trial, including the right to challenge evidence. And if the AVL data forms part of the vehicle's movement during the arrest, it's crucial. It could verify or discredit the state's version of events. Mnisi basically says, how are we supposed to cross-examine without this data? You're handicapping the defense. And he's right. You can't fight a legal war if one side is throwing stones and the other's using a blindfold. Then the state tries to play it off like, oh well, those officers said there were no AVL records, to which Mnisi responds, and I quote, how would they have known if those vehicles were fitted with AVL? They were just mere drivers. Mere drivers, y'all, as in, don't ask me, I just work here. So now we're doing legal forensics based on vibes?
Without which we will be very prejudiced, and without which we might not be able to prefer our defense the manner in which we would have had we had those AVL records. But I'm not inclined to take Advocate Baloyi's weight that those witnesses said that those vehicles did not have AVL records, or actually did not have AVL gadgets, and therefore no AVL records.
What evidence is it on the record, Mr. Baloyi?
Yes, I mentioned specifically, about the trip sheets. They mentioned that those trip logs cannot be located.
Okay, fine. You'll discuss it further with your learned colleague.
As it is a court.
Yes,
Thank you, Madam.
Right.
Yes.
Here's the real problem. Mnisi says he requested AVL data back on May 5th. It's now way past that, and the state is giving half-baked responses, sending random bits of info, delaying and blaming witnesses who probably don't even know what AVL stands for. If you're the state in a high-profile case like this, your evidence game should be tighter than your Wi-Fi password. What does this look like to the public? Like the defense is chasing ghosts and the prosecution is dragging their feet, deliberately or otherwise. Mnisi is essentially saying, we don't want a magician's hat with disappearing AVLs. We want the damn data. This case doesn't need more drama. It needs transparency, integrity, and a working AVL system, not excuses and selective memory. Because if the evidence that can clear or convict someone is missing, then justice is not just delayed, it's denied. If you're as baffled, frustrated, and entertained by this circus of missing AVLs as I am, hit that like button, share this video, and drop a comment below. Do you believe the AVL records are missing or conveniently unavailable? This is the Hot Seat SA, and the courtroom just keeps getting hotter. Stay tuned.
And if you found this video eye-opening, don't just scroll away. Smash that like button, share it, and subscribe for more hard-hitting breakdowns. This is the Hot Seat, signing off. Stay vigilant, folks.